development given the group's absence from other key battleground races. So this is a win for the president here, but at the same time, he put in a lot of effort to get her across the finish line, and that's likely because his political clout when it comes to his endorsements was coming into question. In the recent weeks, we've seen a string of primary losses for the president, particularly last week in Florida and Wyoming. So he needed to put in this effort here and prove that his endorsement still has the power that it used to.
Yeah, I mean, I think heading into November, he very much wanted to show he still had the juice here. He is already crowing out this victory, saying it's because of his endorsement. You know, going forward, how much of the midterms do you think he wants to be about him and how much about the Republican brand?
Yeah, well, we have just seen new reporting that he wants to use some of this money from MAGA Inc. to launch an ad campaign touting his own records and his own accomplishments. And Republicans definitely still want to talk about Trump. You know, he's still a powerful force, especially among the Republican base, and it's important to use that to get the Republican base out. But when we're looking at some of these more vulnerable members in battleground races, we're starting to see some of them distance themselves a little bit from Trump and some of the more unpopular policies like the tariffs and the Iran war. So Trump does want to play a part in this midterms, but it's not clear exactly what that role will be yet.
Kate Sandalese, great to see you. Thank you so much for your help this morning. Kate.
So did Lindsay Clancy hear voices the day that she killed her 3 young children? That question has now turned into a critical flashpoint in the final days of her murder trial. We've got much more on that. And also, there's a new warning today from Bill Gates on AI, laying out in a 5,000-word essay why he is so scared of what is to come. Back on the stand in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial, and closing arguments are likely then to come tomorrow. Clancy's defense team has all along argued and tried to make the case that she was suffering from postpartum psychosis when she killed her 3 children, so she should not be and cannot be criminally liable for their deaths. But on Tuesday, jurors heard from an FBI psychiatrist who said that he believes Clancy knew what she was doing. CNN's Jean Casares was inside the courtroom.
I was in the courtroom to watch the jury during most of the day on Tuesday, and what I saw from beginning to end was before the jury even comes into the courtroom, the defendant comes into the courtroom. And before the defendant comes into the courtroom, her nurses come into the courtroom. Lindsay Clancy has 2 nurses that are seated in the first row of court, and I saw them. They walked in, and you can tell they are nurses by what they are wearing. They sit on the front row. And then Lindsay Clancy was wheeled in. Now, the camera does not catch this, but she is wheeled in by a court officer. She is wheeled to the defense table. Her wheelchair is a larger wheelchair than what we normally see. She then took it on her own to wheel herself back a little bit and go into the defense area as she wanted to, the defense table. Then the jury entered, and they are middle-aged to older, conceivably parents, grandparents. They sat down. The expert witness then began to testify, and I saw notebooks come out. So many notes being written by these jurors, and predominantly the women are taking the notes, but I saw one man that was taking notes, but every juror completely focused on that expert. And there have been a lot of experts in this trial, and many times it gets so monotonous with the battle of the experts, but this jury focused the whole time.
Great to have Jean there. All right, SpaceX plans to build what they call the biggest launch site on Earth. The price tag, a mere $100 billion. And then a whole generation of parents and kids knows the impact of Dolly Parton, not for her music, but her incredible generosity. The Imagination Library, just part of her legacy.
I count my blessings more than I count my money. I just feel like if I'm doing what I am happy doing and doing things to share and to help everybody else, I, of course, will make tons of money. And as I've always joked, it costs a lot to look this cheap, and I need the money. But it ain't just about the money.
I'm Saquon Barkley, and I spent all day jumping through hoops. But watching football shouldn't feel like jumping through hoops. That's why I have DirecTV. It brings all my football into one place so I can easily find and watch it. No jumping, no flipping, or hopping between apps or channels. It's all my games, no matter where they air.
Saga continues over the Kennedy Center in Washington. The Trump administration now threatening to demolish the building if renovations are not allowed. In a new court filing, the Justice Department argues that without the renovations, the center will deteriorate further into an unsafe, decrepit structure, and that will need to be taken down and replaced. But this all comes amid the ongoing fight over Trump's name, really. Trump wanting to add his own name to the building. He added it. It was then removed by court order in June, and of course he wants it back on. CNN's Elena Treen is at the White House with much more on this. What's going to happen here, Elena?
I think it's very much unclear, and I like that you have in big orders over the screen Kennedy Center saga case, because it really has been a saga. This is the latest in a series of fights that the president and his administration have gotten in different judges and the Kennedy Center itself over different changes that they want made. I'm going to walk you through some of this. So as you mentioned, the Kennedy Center, they're arguing these lawyers may need to be demolished or recreated into an open-air performance center if some of these proposed renovations aren't done. Now, this all came in a Monday court filing, and essentially it comes days after the center's board, which we should note is staffed with the president's allies, had voted again to try and close the center down for a series of renovations. I note that those votes have faced a lot of scrutiny in the past. We know that a federal judge has stepped in earlier this year and essentially blocked those renovations from happening. Unclear what's going to happen if this faces another legal battle. Now, I will say in the filing, the lawyers did not say whether such a plan had already been discussed by the board. Instead, it was mentioned alongside other notes and arguments defending the board's decision to vote once again on re-adding the president's name to the facade of the Kennedy Center. I will note there is going to be a hearing on Thursday. The U.S. District Judge Casey Cooper is set to hold a hearing over this bid by the Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty to stop the center from inscribing the president's name into the outside of the building. This is a long fight. We're not exactly sure how this is going to lead, but the argument here is that the building's interior structure is deteriorating. They argue that's why these renovations are necessary, despite some others arguing it might just be to elevate the look of it. So I think a lot more to come on this.
I think that is certain in uncertain times. A lot more to come. It's good to see you, Elena. Thank you very much. John.
All right, with us now, Tia Mitchell, the Washington Bureau Chief for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Shakespeare asked, what's in a name? Kind of a lot here. I mean, here's your picture of the tarp covering up the names the White House apparently doesn't want anyone to see. Donald Trump's name was taken down, at least temporarily, from the Kennedy Center here. Is this the case, Tia? If the president's name can't be on it, they don't want the building at all?
I mean, that's kind of how I read it. The president wants this. The president wants his name on things, especially his name on things that he thinks the American public currently revere or could revere in the future. He wants that to be his legacy, actual structures and landmarks. And so I think that he and his allies in the White House and beyond are looking for ways to make it happen. And if they can't make it happen with the current building, I think their thinking is maybe if there's a new building, some of the current laws may not still apply.
Yeah, sort of take your marbles and go home in a big, expensive way here. Let's move this out and talk about the big events overnight, which was Darlene Graham winning the runoff there to get the Republican nomination for the full 6-year term Senate in South Carolina here. President Trump went to campaign for her in Myrtle Beach just the other night, and you can see she won that county by a lot, almost the entire margin of her victory in South Carolina. The president wanted this. The president got it. What does it mean going forward?
So I think it was a really good night for President Trump. Every primary night has not been a great night for him, but last night was. I think it shows that he's going to continue to support candidates that he feels have been loyal to him, and he wants to show that loyalty in return. They're not always the candidate who has the most experience or, has the most groundswell of support, but he thinks he can come in and help change things, help build support. He literally told voters in Myrtle Beach, don't think about it as Darlene Graham on the ballot, think about it as if my name is on the ballot. And it seems to really have had impact.
Yeah, again, as long as we're just talking about Myrtle Beach here, we can push in there. You can see the margin of her win in Myrtle Beach was about 17,000 in Horry County. You push back overall the entire margin in the state was $18,000. So you can see that visit may have made a big difference there. Tia Mitchell, thank you very much. Kate?
This morning, Canada strikes back. And now the big question is, what will these retaliatory tariffs mean for the United States? In less than 2 weeks, Americans are going to find out.
Today I'm announcing that Canada will match the United States tariff dollar for dollar, rate for rate. Effective September 8th, Canada will impose counter tariffs of up to 15, 25, or 50% on 27.6 billion in imports from the United States of America. For each product, our tariff would match the American tariff on the same type of Canadian good.
Canada is part of this, doubling tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum to 50%, the same rate the U.S. is now charging on Canadian steel and aluminum. There are lots of other new tariffs that are about to set in as well, as Canada is now responding. Paper products, construction materials, home appliances, dairy, and other agricultural goods as well. Canadian officials have also unveiled at the same time a $5.4 billion package to try to help businesses and workers in Canada impacted by this trade fight. Let's talk about where things stand and where things are going. Joining me right now is the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow. Mayor, thank you for being the Prime Minister. Well, the Canadian government laid out the response yesterday. Doubling of tariffs on American steel and aluminum to 50% is the most significant. Do you think this tit-for-tat, dollar-for-dollar approach is the right one?
Well, until President Trump's attack, for generations, our close relationships created prosperity for all of us. So I truly don't understand why President Trump is bound and determined to raise price for everyone, both sides of the border. So it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful, but we have to respond. We have to defend and protect ourselves. And look, we are best partners, we're best neighbors. My brother, my cousins are all Americans. And we're supposed to love our neighbors, but instead we're getting brutally and viciously attacked. I just don't understand it.
Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, has come out very hard against the President of the United States here. The Wall Street Journal had a whole profile on him this morning and writes that he's clearly getting under the skin of the president and the White House, but also writes this: Ford, his unpredictability complicates Prime Minister Mark Carney's negotiating stance, but he also provides a useful foil, a kind of bad cop for which Carney can offer his more measured good cop approach. Do you think Doug Ford's approach complicates things for the Prime Minister negotiating?
Well, that's a very good question. Look, this uncertainty is costing us. It's costing everyone. And when the price goes up, no one is exempt. And I think what we should do is follow Dolly Parton's way. She lives the life full of love and joy and genuineness. And President Trump could reflect on this. Instead of these midnight sweetheart bullying, they're vicious. Just take a breather. And my message to the American viewer is this is senseless. There's no reason for this kind of attack. Our economy, our auto parts are so interrelated, and that's why we're prosperous. So give your local elected rep a call and say, come on, supposed to love for your neighbors as yourself, but stop the attack. And let's negotiate, let's talk, because we are always stronger together.
Let me ask the question then this way, because I didn't hear an answer there. Doug Ford also told the Associated Press that if this fight gets worse, the way he put it is everything is on the table, including cutting off electricity from Ontario going into the United States. Do you support that move?
Well, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Upping the price of electricity, we have to get attention because this cannot continue. The uncertainty is costing everyone. And I have listened, we as Canadians are having a buy local, love local campaign. There'll be 2 two apples, one from America, one from Canada, we're going to buy Canadian
Right,
apples.
but proactively
So
cutting off
it's
electricity going into the United States, you would support that move as a measure to get the U.S. to the negotiating table.
Well, I think whatever our premier needs to do, we cannot continue this way because our economy is quite integrated. If you think about the cars, how they're being built, because of this integration, we're more efficient. We have good cars coming out because of integration. So we cannot continue to fight and destroy each other's economy, and the prices of everything is going up. It's painful, so we have to stop this.
Yep, it's gonna go some direction. Stop or go is yet to be determined much further. Mayor, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate your time. Mayor of Toronto with us this morning. Let's get back to Sarah now in Nashville. Sarah?
Thank you so much, Kate. You were the barometer tribute pouring in this morning for Dolly Parton, who died at 80 years old after what we are learning now is a brief battle with cancer. We're hearing from Taylor Swift, who said in part, "A world without Dolly doesn't feel possible, doesn't feel real or right." Beyonce calling her the barometer, the North Star, the bold and brilliant, talented and tenacious. She said, "You taught us so many lessons on how to be uniquely oneself." Paul McCartney, who first met her here in 1974, here in Nashville, said her songwriting, her singing, and her philanthropy were unrivaled in the world of country music. It's hard to imagine living in a world without Dolly. We also heard from Mick Jagger and Barbra Streisand, all of them honoring her incredible legacy, and many, many more who played with her, who knew her, who befriended her, along with her 9 to 5 co-stars, Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. Tennessee's Sevier County, where Parton grew up as one of 12 children in utter poverty, but learned to sort of use music to tell songs, they declared a day of mourning. Her theme park that she created, and people didn't believe that it could be a hit, and it was. Well, Dollywood says it's going to be open today. Park saying that is exactly what Dolly would have wanted. We also know that, for sure, there was a tribute here at what is known as the Mother Church of Country Music, Grand Ole Opry. They had a beautiful tribute to her after everyone learned just yesterday that she had passed away here in Nashville. Joining me now is Martha Ackman, the author of Ain't Nobody's Fool, The Life and Times of Dolly Parton. Also joining me is Chris William, the senior music writer and chief music critic of Variety. Look, Martha, I'm going to start with you. Give me some sense of what today means to you, because the world really has lost an incredible person, not just a performer, not just a singer and songwriter, but a human being that touched so many people across so many genres. You really can't find a person in this country that doesn't feel like they know her or love her.
Well, it's a very great loss, isn't it? I think your point about everybody feeling like they're part of her family is very well taken. It's often asked, why is Dolly the great unifier? Why is she one person that everybody seems to agree on? And I must tell you that in writing my book, I talked to hundreds of people, from her members of her family to high school classmates, teachers, musicians, bandmates. And as a biographer, you always have to ask, are there any shortcomings? And I was hard-pressed to find anyone who had anything negative to say about Dolly. I think the worst comment that I ever heard was from people who said that she tried to do too much, that she spread herself too thin. She was the great unifier, and I think that had to do a lot with what was at her core.
Yeah, I mean, just her persona and the incredible way in which she dealt with people, of different walks of life, it strikes a lot of us as almost impossible, and yet she did it. Chris, give me a sense of what this means to the world of music, because she collaborated with so many people across music genres. Everyone can sing a song that Dolly Parton either wrote, sang herself, or did both.
Yeah, I can just speak for myself personally, but I think a lot of people feel this kind of impact. I was trying to think the last time I felt that instantly crestfallen when I heard someone who died in entertainment. And I think back to John Lennon and George Harrison, major figures in my life. And I think Dolly, in some ways, means more to people. I mean, the Beatles changed the world, but no one felt they knew them like we think we know Dolly. And having met her on a number of occasions and talked to her, I can certainly say that the world did know Dolly. She was the same person behind the scenes. Everyone will say that you saw on camera. It's something she turned on and off. And she had this quality that I call messianic, almost. I hate to use that word third. But I used, when I wrote an appreciation for her, I called her a flirty Jesus. And that sounds a little sacrilegious, but I think that kind of gets at the quality that, mischievous and fun, but also just brought joy and light to every room she was in, whether that was literally or whether that was to the world that was kind of the room she created.
Chris, some people might say that is blasphemy of flirty Jesus, but I think Dolly would have laughed at that one. She said a lot of funny things in the time, and that is a really, really clever way to describe her. Martha, when you wrote this book, what sort of stood out to you as you were going through and telling her story, her biography? This is a person that came from absolute extreme poverty. One of 12, her daddy wasn't able to read and write. They lived, very, very, very poorly. But she used her music as a way to tell stories, which is what she did back in the day where they were.
That's right. I think the thing maybe that struck me the most was how early on Dolly knew what she wanted to do. I think she was about 4 years old when she, didn't exactly write, but recited lyrics to what was her first song. It was about a little corncob doll that her father made for her. I think the first lines were "Tiny little tassel top, I love you an awful lot." And what is remarkable about that, besides just the fact that she was already imagining songs, and she said she had a gift of rhyme, but what was also notable was that her mother knows. And her mother, eventually had 12 children. Dolly was number 4. It was very easy to get lost in the crowd. But her mother wrote that lyric down and put it in a box and saved it, as she did so many of Dolly's compositions. So early on, Dolly knew what she wanted to do, and as she grew older, she began to realize how she wanted to do it. So that confidence, that sense of purpose. I was struck also by how often Dolly used the word proud to describe her work. And that's not a word that women growing up in this society and culture, not a word they use lightly. But Dolly knew her own work, and I think that was also something that certainly women musicians learned from, but women all over the world.
She was a juggernaut of so much. Martha Ackman and Chris Willman, thank you both so much for having this conversation with me. I mean, a lot of us who have been listening to her our whole lives are devastated, but we also realize we have such a deep well of beautiful music to be able to remember her by for the rest of our lives, and we're so thankful for that. Thank you both for talking to me.
I love this song. New this morning, SpaceX announced plans to build a $100 billion spaceport on Louisiana's southern coast. The site is to be called Starbase Louisiana. SpaceX said the campus will serve as a hub for its huge Starship rocket. CEO Elon Musk says Starbase Louisiana will ultimately have over a dozen launch towers, enabling more than 30 Starship flights per day and making it the biggest launch site on Earth. SpaceX says the new site will add more than 3,000 jobs to the region. Construction is expected to begin next year, with the first launch set for 2029. All right, a man with a guillotine arrested near the Supreme Court. A guillotine, for real. And then crews battling wildfires in Nevada say it could be days before they get it under control.
This CNN Business Update.